So let's be honest, Tesla's stock is probably going higher from here. On Friday, we got news that Tesla cut the price of the Model 3 and the Model Y, and if there was any catalyst out there besides Elon selling stock that would cause Tesla stock to fall big time, it's price cuts on the Model 3 and the Model Y. And Tesla actually ended the day in the green by almost 0.25%. Now, we have earnings upcoming. We have the Cybertruck delivery event, which should be coming here anytime. These are going to be very positive catalyst for Tesla stock, but we also have a very weird market right now where some sectors are doing pitifully terrible and some other sectors are doing okay. The markets are very sensitive to economic data right now. We had a jobs report on Friday that was much better than expectations. Much better than expectations, as long as inflation is coming down, really says, hey, we might actually get a soft landing here. Like a soft landing might actually be happening in the economy. Now, that's far from the whole story. I want to get into where the markets currently are right now, what we can expect this upcoming week as far as the economic data, when the Cybertruck delivery event could come out, what do the technicals say on Tesla? And where could Tesla stock go following the Cybertruck delivery event, following earnings? Also, what are the analysts saying on Tesla stock here today? All of this and much more. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like Tesla stock and you own Tesla stock. So that should be a high percentage of you guys likely watching this video. If you want to grow your net worth, reach financial freedom as quickly as possible, if your wife is nagging on you because you watch too many Tesla stock videos, and you just know one day you're going to be chilling on the beach, drinking Bahama Mamas, and maybe she's there, maybe she's not, maybe she just nags too much, I don't know, maybe that's getting too far into it, but hit the like button if you're in that similar situation as well. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So I think we started this video on a high note, and what I mean by that is, again, if there was any catalyst that was going to drive Tesla stock down, if there was any day for Tesla to really fall to the pits of the bears, it was on Friday. It was the significant price cuts we seen to the Model 3 and the Model Y. That did not happen. Whether you think it's because the markets were really bullish and that helped out Tesla stock, I'm sure that did, but still, Tesla closed in the green on Friday. So I don't really think that is something you need to be fixated on right now. I think the markets are forward-looking, and we're looking ahead to earnings, the Cybertruck, and some of the other things we're going to get into here in this video. The first thing I want to start with, though, is expectations for earnings. Now, Tesla is going to report their third quarter earnings on October 18th. Tesla is one of the quick companies to report. They usually do pretty soon into the next quarter, so we're going to get those not this week, but that will be the following week, so you don't have to wait all too long. Now, from the Wall Street Journal, the estimates for Tesla earnings have come down quite a bit. This is the average analyst consensus view. So 3 months ago, analysts were expecting 84 cents of EPS. 1 month ago, you were expecting 80 cents, and the current estimate is 74 cents of EPS. So the expectations are not high. That's good. A lot of this probably has to do with the price cuts that we just seen on the Model 3 and the Model Y. That's not going to affect Q3. You've seen very little changes there with pricing in actually Q3 itself. You did see some price cuts to the Model S and the Model X, but that is such a small amount of volume. That's probably not going to have the biggest impact to Tesla. What will have an impact is obviously full self-driving. Those sales, like 90% of it goes to net profits. There's no way to know what the take rate was on FSD, so that's maybe a little disappointing. If I were to go out on a limb, maybe a lot of the Highland pre-orders, the first deliveries that we've seen, maybe have a higher percentage of FSD for the take rate. That's just going out on a limb. I don't know that. It looks like energy did do very well in this latest quarter. I think that could be something analysts are very much underappreciating. And also, the 5,000 or so vehicles that were delivered this last quarter that were not produced, meaning you actually ran down your inventory by about 5,000 vehicles, that should have a good effect to earnings. So what we've seen with Tesla's last earnings is Tesla posted EPS of about 92, 93 cents, if I believe right in that range. Now you're expecting 74 cents. Tesla's deliveries of 435,000 is only about 30,000 less than last quarter. So you did run down inventory by 5,000 vehicles. Just doing some rough mental math here. EPS is probably going to come in around 85 to even 90 cents in that range. So it looks like Tesla's going to beat on their EPS numbers. It looks like earnings, if I were to say, are probably going to be pretty good at this point. Usually deliveries are the big event that can send Tesla stock down 5 or 10%. Once you get to earnings, you kind of already know what to expect. So I have positive hopes and expectations for Tesla's earnings and what it will do to Tesla's share price. I think the biggest near-term catalyst is going to be the Cybertruck. Now, there's a dilemma that I'm having right now. Is the Cybertruck going to come before earnings, or is that delivery event going to be announced on earnings itself? That's a tough one. A part of me believes we might get the Cybertruck delivery event announcement this weekend, potentially. Or maybe it's next weekend, the weekend right before you actually get into earnings. But I do think we're going to get this announcement on a weekend. That's usually how Tesla likes to operate. Usually on a Sunday, we tend to get big announcements for Tesla. And I strongly believe this is not priced into Tesla stock. The Cybertruck was announced in 2019. A lot of people thought this was going to come in 2020 or at the very latest 2021. It has gotten pushed back a lot. So if you read analysts and what analysts say about Tesla, they really don't incorporate a lot of value to the Cybertruck. A lot of analysts don't think it's going to have a halo effect. A lot of analysts believe the Cybertruck is going to fail. Obviously, we know that's not the case. The Cybertruck's probably going to become the most popular truck in the US, and it is just a captivating product. So I think once you actually get the Cybertruck delivery event announcement, that's where analysts have to start saying, hey, there's actually a real timeline here that we can go off of, and it's actually coming. So maybe that will help Tesla's business more than we expect in 2024. Keep in mind, there's about 27% delivery volume growth, I should say, expected for 2024 and 29% EPS growth. If analysts are forced to bake in the Cybertruck and what effect that could have to Tesla stock, it seems like, in theory, you should have to raise your estimates. Seems like you might get more banks and hedge funds, market makers, institutional investors buying themselves more Tesla stock, as really in the land of big tech, Tesla is by far the most under-owned stock out there. Seems like for these reasons, it should be very positive for Tesla, and I would expect a 5 or even as high as 10% move higher based on the announcement of the Cybertruck delivery event. 5% higher from current pricing would put Tesla stock at about $275 per share. 10% higher would put Tesla stock at about $286. And if you were to subsequently start into an even bigger rally, 15% would take you back to $300. And then you start after that point, probably seeing a lot of traders step into this, potentially even shorts that start getting squeezed on their positions. And all in all, the Cybertruck and earnings, these catalysts in which I expect to be very bullish, could end up sending the stock into the mid $300 range. That's my estimate. To get to 340, that would be an increase of about 31%. That doesn't seem all too unrealistic if things go according to plan and kind of how I'm outlining here in this video. And if you take a look at some of the option activity, you're seeing a lot of option activity around the $300 call for October 20th with about 30,000 for open interest. And at the 260 call, you're seeing about 24,000 for open interest. If you go to the next largest option expiration, the November 17th, 2023 expiration, you're seeing the most activity around the $300 call with about 20,000 for open interest, 10,000 for volume on Friday. The 270 call also has open interest of almost 39,000. So it looks like the calls are definitely winning here And as I've reported a couple times now, the past week or so, you have seen some incredible just amount of dollars heading into Tesla options. It's actually kind of ridiculous. If you look at the past week, you've seen 4,958 orders. These are hedge fund trades, institutional trades. These are not retail investors. I should point that out. Not retail. These are your big guys. They have put $5.19 billion into Tesla options with a positive order value of 63%. Again, this is incorporating even the price cuts on the Model 3 and the Model Y that you seen on Friday. Even after that, you were 56% positive in the land of options on Friday. You really just can't stop Tesla at this point. I'm convinced of that. And like I said, the massive short position in Tesla could also help to boost Tesla stock higher if some shorts are forced to cover and close out of their short positions. As I've said a couple times before, Tesla is by far the most shorted stock on the markets. If you look at a stock like an Apple, like we did in the last video, you're seeing short interest of like 18 billion. Tesla's $22.14 billion in shorts. That's massive. Microsoft's $12 billion short. And Tesla is dramatically less valuable than a Microsoft or an Apple. They have valuations of 4 to 5 times Tesla's valuation. So if you start to break above $300 per share, that's where things get really bad for the shorts, considering a lot of these shorts took out short positions when Tesla was in the high hundreds, low 200s. A lot of people didn't expect Tesla to recover to the degree in which it did. So if you start to break out to even 1 year highs, and this I think will be an important level, around 315, that's going to be your 2022 high. I mean, that's where things start to get really intense for a move into the mid threes. High threes, potentially all-time highs at that point. Now, if there is anything that could slow down Tesla's recent bullish momentum, it's probably the Action Jackson week we have this week for economic data. Now, you're going to have a lot of Fed speakers. Keep in mind, these Fed speakers, they are trying to influence the long end of the curve. Lately, they've been saying higher for longer, no rate cuts. They've caused a big jump in the 10, 20, 30-year bonds, in which we talk about all of the time here on this channel. The 10, 20, 30-year bonds, those really cramp down on economic activity because that's really what like a mortgage trades around. It's not off a 2-year treasury. The lender in which I'm going to buy my next rental property, he told me they usually go about 2 to 3% higher than the 10-year. So that's why you have mortgage rates that are like 8%. They don't go off of the 2-year treasury. If markets expected lower rates into, the next 10 years, you theoretically could have a high 2-year, a low 10-year, and lower like mortgage rates, right? Auto loan rate. So the higher the long end of the curve goes, the worse off the economy is. So what Fed speakers have done recently is try to calm that down a little bit because they've kind of de-anchored the bond market, if you will. The last thing you want is a runaway 10, 20, 30-year bond that puts too much pressure on the economy. The 30-year bonds at almost 5%. It actually went up 7 basis points on Friday because of that hot jobs report. The markets brushed that off. So what has been causing markets to fall did not have that same effect to markets on Friday. That's why I do believe what you've seen on Friday was really just an oversold bounce. On the RSI, the S&P was literally on the oversold line around, well, technically it was oversold here, around 28 on October 3rd, but even on Friday, you were around 34. If your neutral level's 50, that's pretty dang oversold. So I would be a little bit careful here just saying that the downside is done in this market, that it's all higher from here. Just be a little bit careful there. Now, as far as economic data for this week, you don't really have much on Monday. On Tuesday, you really don't have much as well. You have wholesale inventories and consumer inflation expectations. Those come out at 10 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't think those will be the big story of this week. Wednesday, you get PPI month over month. You're expecting 0.3%. Last month was 0.7%. A lot of that was due to energy, as you did see core PPI stay the same at 0.2. So you really want to watch core PPI. If you guys don't know what PPI is, it's producer price index. Think about it like producer price inflation. CPI is consumer price index, consumer price inflation. That's the best way that I like to think about it. PPI, producer side of inflation, can make its way into CPI as consumers pass on those costs. So if that does rise, that could be a problem. FOMC minutes come out 2 p.m. on Wednesday. This is basically a transcript of the last Fed meeting. Sometimes we get more details and clarity on what the Fed's thinking. Sometimes we don't. It's one of those that, can affect the markets, but doesn't always have to. Now, if you look at Thursday, this is where you get your Action Jackson catalyst for this week. You're going to get your CPI report. So your headline month over month, you're expecting that to fall from 0.6% last month to 0.3% this month. So quite the decline. And your year over year headline inflation is expected to fall from 3.7 to 3.6%. A lot of this is base effects where inflation, started to come down last year. So when you're looking at our numbers, it does look even better. Those base effects starting to help out a little bit. Now, your core inflation rate month over month is expected at 0.3%. Your core year over year is expected at 4.1%. That is a stable month over month, and your core year over year actually coming down from 4.3% to 4.1%. You're also going to get initial jobless claims. That's really been a nothing burger lately. So if we see a big jump there, that could obviously be important, but who knows? Now, the Chinese inflation rate is going to come out Thursday at 9:30 p.m. A lot of the fear was we've recently seen deflation in China. So you want to see, do we see deflation or do we not? You're expecting 0.2% for your inflation rate year over year, and month over month inflation at 0.3%. So that's better than deflation, but that's definitely going to be a big catalyst to watch. And then on Friday, you're going to get the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey for October, and you really want to see your 5-year and your 1-year inflation expectations. That is going to be important. That could really drive the markets higher or lower. So as long as that economic data does not cause any panic in the markets, well, Tesla stock should be on a clear path to go higher. The first thing that I want to point out, I took all of the lines off of this chart so we can put them back on together and explain them. So this is connecting your highs to the recent or semi-recent highs that we've seen throughout 2022 and 2023. And you broke above this briefly before last earnings, and then you just got utterly obliterated. You came up and retested this back here in November or September of 2023 as well, and then the markets got obliterated a little bit. S&P fell about 8% from the highs. And now you're coming up to retest this again. Now, if you draw, you can see just how obvious these lines are. But if you draw a line from the lows that we just recently seen, connect them to kind of the lows that we have recently seen as well back here in August and September, you find something that's pretty clear. If Tesla breaks out above about 265, coming because of the Cybertruck, because earnings, whatever it is, Tesla stock can likely go much higher. This is going to buck a long-term downtrending trend. Okay? So that could be very exciting to the upside. If for whatever reason the markets get spooked and Tesla falls under this line, then you could be in for more downside. And that's where things get a little bit less predictable. If I were to predict right now, the chart's saying Tesla's going higher, right? That's just clear. Tesla is among like the 1% of stocks, maybe the 2%, 3% of stocks now that are substantially off of their 50-day moving average, like 4% or higher above their 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average at $252.12. On Friday, you bounced right off of your 50-day moving average. Like clockwork, guys. Literally like clockwork. Let's make that bigger. Like, you didn't even go under it. You bounced right off of it. If this ain't bullish, I don't know what else is. Your 100-day moving average, that's your next level of support under that. That's at $246.69 per share. But that is a lot of strength that you are seeing right now with Tesla on the charts. Now, why are the charts important? Well, trading algorithms account for like 70 to 90% of the trading activity that you see on any given stock on any given day, week, or month. So that's why technicals can be important. It looks like the algorithms are helping to at least keep Tesla stock bullish, keep Tesla stock high. Now, the MACD is pretty neutral. You have seen the yellow line on Friday go back above the blue line. It might be a little bit hard to see here in this video, but that is a good sign. And you are slightly positive on the MACD. So if that does start to trend upwards, yeah, that could be a signal of a much larger rally to come. Usually when we get rallies in Tesla, the MACD can go to like 12 to 20, and you're like at half of one. So that could be signaling a lot of potential upside. The RSI right there at about neutral at 54.80. Technically, the neutral line is 50, so you're a little bit above neutral, but anywhere between like 50 and 55 is neutral. Anywhere between like 50 and 45 is pretty neutral. When you start to get much higher than that, much lower than that, that's where you start to get more, bullishly or bearishly positioned, or at least the sentiment. In this case, Tesla, pretty neutral, I would say, with a skew towards bullish on the RSI, but not nearly enough to sit here and say, Tesla's in imminent danger of collapsing. Again, to my point, if we were going to see that collapse, it probably would have been on Friday due to the price cuts of the Model 3 and the Model Y. Now we're just looking ahead to the Cybertruck delivery event, and I think it's only a matter of time before that comes out. Could be this weekend, could be next weekend, it could be on earnings. Some point between now and October 18th, I would bet that you get the Cybertruck delivery announcement, because then Tesla's probably going to announce that. It's going to be like 3 weeks. So imagine if earnings are October 18th. 3 weeks out from that, what's that going to put you? The beginning of November, you get the delivery event. And then let's say by the end of November, maybe December 1st, we start Cybertruck deliveries. That does make some sense to me. If you guys take a look at this right here, it says Tesla missed its Q3 target for the Cybertruck delivery event. Elon Musk said on the last earnings call that, quote, "We're anticipating having a delivery event, a great delivery event, probably in Q3, Musk said in the company's April earnings call. The Cybertruck handover will hopefully be around the end of Q3 this year, he added later in the call. So not the last earnings call, but the one before that. Kind of missed his own target, which is not like too uncommon, right? Elon does say a lot of things, but it looks like we're probably closer than not. And this could be coming out anytime. So maybe that's another reason why Tesla stock has been a little bit more on the bullish side as of recently. So let me know what you think about Tesla stock, where Tesla stock is going from here. Do we break above the 300s, or do we break under the 250s again? Personally, I know we're only $260.55, but I think we probably trade higher into the 300s. Obviously, earnings could be negative. We seen last time around earnings were negative for Tesla, but that was because, you had already went through a very big rally from back here about 152 all the way to 300. Tesla stock had basically doubled in the course of Q2, and you were heading into the earnings very much overbought on the RSI. There was a lot of overextended technicals going on. Right now, that's not the case. So I do think this time, infamous last words, could be different for Tesla, and Tesla stock could be going much higher, guys. So if you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, come get access to all of the trades that I make every single day. We're going long, we're going short, we're hedging, we're doing some YOLOs, we're doing some day trades, swing trades, all of that good stuff, some credit spreads, debit spreads. If you guys want to be a part of the action, link down below in the description of this video. Go follow us on X as well. It is Michael Tyler. Simple as that. You will find us. Go ahead, give us a follow. We will start hopefully posting some really short, kind of 3, 4, 5 minute long videos over there. That's what I am shooting for. So don't miss the action as well. If you guys have not signed up for Webull already, link down below in the description of this video. Get 15 free stocks when you sign up using my link. Maybe it's 12, somewhere around there. It's literally free money. Sign up, deposit $1, see what you guys get. Sometimes you can get some good ones. I've got $50, $100 when I sign some of my family up in just one of those stocks, and then you get 12 more. So it's literally free money, guys. That's going to do it for this video. My name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.